So hi, welcome to my new channel. This is going to be centered around homelessness and the issues surrounding that. So I've created this new channel because my main YouTube channel is just about fun and entertainment and about lots of different subjects. Generally light-hearted subjects and generally kind of frivolous and so forth sort of thing. So I was originally going to do, and I have done some serious issues on my main channel, but I was thinking I wanted to separate the two channels. I wanted to have another channel specifically for homelessness issues and around homelessness. So I thought to myself, right, I'll create this separate channel which will be purely for this essentially is going to be for anybody who has either experienced homelessness, works in the homelessness field, so all professionals, all frontline staff, so whether it be A&E staff who sometimes might have to end up treating a homeless person for whatever, especially if it's an entrenched long-term homeless person, especially if they have mental health issues as well, drug addiction issues, whatever it is, you know what I mean? Sometimes, because I know from my own experiences, like I say, I was homeless myself for 20 years, and I know from my own experiences that sometimes you go into an A&E and look at it from their perspective, I'm a smelly dirt, because I was the stereotypical. There's a picture on my channel somewhere. I will load it if I've not already. Of when I was homeless, and I'm the stereotypical image of the tramp, the beard, the scraggly hair, the clothes that could have probably walked off on their own because I'd worn them for that long, or had even melded with the rest of my body because they were, I'd worn them that long. Anyway, the thing is that, from their perspective, I'm this smelly, belligerent, sometimes drunk, not always necessarily, guy that they just don't know what to do with, kind of thing. I might have had an injury or something or whatever that needed medical treatment, and it's not that they were refusing necessarily to treat me or anything like that. I mean, I didn't necessarily get that. Although I must admit I did get the attitude sometimes, and I did get treated not very nicely sometimes, to be quite honest. Not out and out nastily necessarily, but certainly with some indifference and some lack of, or maybe some disdain and lack of empathy to some degree, but not completely. I won't say I mean, that will vary from person's experience to experience, and what have you. And of course, those are also coloured by different types of memories, and also it's coloured by if you're using any kind of substance. But I know I'm going off piste slightly here, but my main point here is that this channel is for anybody who works, even if it's just briefly, with homeless people, you know what I mean? But it's not just for the professionals, it's also for the homeless themselves. I want this channel to be, it doesn't actually, I've tried to upload that channel out to the actual YouTube channel. Sadly, it won't have it. I'll try and work on that and if I can try and change it around somehow. But basically the emphasis and the title, which you'll see on the Google Plus page, if you go onto my Google Plus page, you will see that it says working, homeless and professional working together. And that's the theme, that's the whole message I'm trying to get across as well, is that this should be a partnership between frontline staff and the homeless people themselves. The homeless people should be helping to drive particular services that are key to their particular needs. So they should be able to sit on advisory panels and boards and this, that and the other, and even if they are still homeless, just as long as they're not drunk, I suppose. We can't really have them turning up with their bottles or cans and sitting there drinking. It just wouldn't really be appropriate, let's be honest about it. But essentially what I'm saying is, maybe ex-service users like myself, or even people that are still colouring. To be quite honest, I must admit, just as long as they're not disruptive, just as long as they're there for a genuine purpose of trying to help not just their own situation but other people's situation, like themselves, then I've got no problem with somebody that's still actively homeless. And even if they are smelly, do you know what I mean? Hey, we're all smelly at times, do you know what I mean? The thing is that it doesn't matter to me. I think that people who are even actively still homeless should be allowed to come onto advisory panels and boards and whatever else these things. I mean, I'm not an expert in this field of, you know, what the terminologies that you use to describe particular things to set up services. You know, what these boards or whatever. I haven't got a clue when all comes to all that stuff, to be perfectly honest. But as I said, the point is that it's about trying to. Sorry, excuse me. It's about trying to get, you know, homeless people and the professional people on the same side. You know, instead of it's them and us, and it's you know, people devising services that they've had no real experience of themselves. Now that's not to knock people that, you know, I'm not saying that people who have never experienced homelessness can't contribute and provide some real solutions. Of course they can, do you know what I mean? But I think it's just as important to include the homeless people themselves, because again, hopefully that might be the seed that's sown that helps them to you know, create a new life for themselves, if you want to put it that way. You know, to give them a sense of purpose, a sense of encouragement, and a sense that they are still a human being. Because believe me, when you've been out there long enough, and if you're treated long enough to the point where you start feeling less than human, so you start acting less than human, you know, you do. You know, it's just a matter of you know, that's just the way it is. Essentially, that's exactly how it works. You know, you start treating people inhumanely, and they're going to react inhumanely. You know, it's as plain and simple as that. 1 and 1 make 2. You know, you can't. It's an inescapable fact. Now the thing is that hopefully, you know, like I say, we can bridge those gaps, and we can work together. And like I say, hopefully give these people a sense of purpose, a sense of like they've got a voice, they've got you know, they've got that sense of you know, ownership of what's going on around them, essentially, if you want to put it that way. Okay, I'm going to leave it there for now, but this is just a quick introduction. Well, say quick introduction. I don't know how quick that was, but this is supposed to be a little introduction to my new channel. As I said, this hopefully is for both the professionals and for homeless people themselves. I want everybody to contribute, everybody to chime in, everybody to, you know, if they've got interesting articles, videos, whatever it is, it's all welcome, just as long as it's positive and it's working towards a common goal of trying to help people in that situation. And it's not, again, the other thing I want to emphasise in this is that some people think that there's quick solutions to these things, or that we should just end homelessness now. You know, I'm sorry, but the realities are that that's not always possible. Even in an ideal situation, even if we weren't in the economic situation that we're in now or whatever, even if there was a land of complete prosperity and what have you, yeah, the thing is that there's always going to be some people, even if it's a small amount of people, who are going to actively choose to live that way. Do you know what I mean? Some people will, regardless, you know. I mean, hopefully it's a very small minority of people that would wish to choose to live that way, but there are going to be some people that will. Do you know what I mean? No matter what interventions or what motivations or whatever. And that's just human beings for you. Do you know what I mean? They can be stubborn, they can be... Do you know what I mean? If they've made their minds up about a particular thing, then not very much else is going to change that situation. So, it's about accepting that, and it's about working with that, and it's about maybe, you know, it's not about denying them services just because they won't comply with what we expect them to comply to, kind of thing. So I'm not being very succinct here. I know, I can tell the way I'm speaking. It's this is really off the cuff, literally just off the cuff, and I've not rehearsed this. I've not planned out what I'm going to say. So sometimes stuff will come to me quite readily, and sometimes it'll be like, don't know how to frame this particular bit. But I'm keeping it real, and I'm keeping it me. So what you see is what you get. I'm not about being professional and slick and, yeah, let's do. Maybe that is the way you're supposed to do it. But I mean, think about the world that we actually live in these days. You know what I mean? It's all about slick, flipping presentations, sound bites, blah, blah, blah. Come on, let's do this. This is how you sell yourself to the world, and and blah, 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 blah. Well, yeah, great. You know what I mean? But I'm not really interested at the end of the day. Sorry, but, you know, what I'm interested in is trying to help people who are out there, do you know what I mean? Who are on the street, who are suffering now, do you know what I mean? And it's not pretty and it's not nice, and so I'm not here to win awards or to be the best slick flipping YouTuber in the world or the best flipping marketing salesman or whatever, do you know what I mean? I'm sorry, what you see is what you get. At the end of the day, it's about trying to help people out there, do you know what I mean? So, anyway, so the thing is, what I'm going to do is, like I said, I'm going to upload this. Sorry, I was getting rather passionate there. I was getting rather... because, you know, I understand that sometimes you need a professional aspect to these things in order to be able to draw people in and hopefully get the interest and maybe even get the funding or whatever it is and whatever we need and whatever it takes to try and help the people out there. So I understand sometimes you've got to play that game, haven't you? That sort of like one side and the other side and all that, whatever. You know what I mean? Politics, if you like, whatever. But I struggle with all that. I'd never make a good politician, believe me. I would not make a good diplomat. I am not diplomatic. I put my foot in it all the time. But anyway, like I said, I'm kind of waffling on a little bit here, so, right. I'm going to shut up now. This is the introduction to my channel. Like I said, please subscribe and please share this with your colleagues and anybody else that you feel is relevant to share it with. And please chime in. Please, I want people to come in and contribute and you know, come up with ideas and suggestions and let's see where we can take this, guys. This is just, like I say, I haven't got a clue what's going to happen with this. Maybe it'll just sit there for the next 20 years on YouTube and it'll be like tumbleweeds going past. You know, it'll be a ghost town and nobody will, you know, maybe we get the odd visitor now and again who happen just strayed off the wrong path, like, and oh, where the heck am I? What's this town called? So at the end of the day, maybe nothing will come of this. I really sincerely, dearly hope that this will be the beginning of something. I mean, like I said, I don't get to the I'm not being grandiose here, and I'm not trying to think that, you know, we have found the solution to homelessness and, hey, come on, let's go on. Do you know what I mean? But I just want to hope that it helps in some way, at least. You know, at least we contribute something. Even if it's a small contribution, it doesn't matter, just as long as it helps. Do you know what I mean? And it helps a few people out there. Okay, right, I'm going to leave it there. Thanks very much. Cheers, guys, and please subscribe.